This program may contain material that is not suitable for all audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Welcome to Straight Talk with DC Hannah. It's week 6, 7, 8 of the Ronapocalypse. I don't know anymore. They're all running together. The sun goes up, the sun goes down, and we're still inside, right? Unless you're essential, and then you're going to work. Well, if you're going to work, you need protection. Of course, I carry a .45, but I'm not talking about that kind of protection. No, I'm talking about the mask. The mask, as I mentioned last week, is the new ubiquitous fashion accessory. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the new necessary life-saving measure that you can't go outside without it, or you or someone else is going to catch the Rona and die. Well, if you have an essential job, then you'll be wearing a mask 8 hours at a time. That's according to the new phased reintroduction, reintegration, reopening plans that are being floated around at both the local, state, and federal level. Wherever you are, there may be some variations, but I read the Johnson County, Kansas proposed or draft reopening plan yesterday, and this is what I saw, is that employees at businesses are going to be required to wear masks. Now, the masks are going to be cloth or paper. You're not going to be able to wear a painter's respirator with cartridges on it. No, it's going to be a cloth or paper mask that's going to meet the requirements of the reopening plans. In order to do that, you've got to put the mask on, and most masks come with elastic for your ears. Now, if you have a regular sized head, then elastic for the ears aren't really a problem. You put it on and there it goes. It sits there. But those of us with big old melon heads, yes, big melon heads that need to buy an extra large size hat, then we're at a disadvantage because the mask stretches across our face and then pulls down on our ears. So we need something else. And that something else is the headband. We've seen features and ads and YouTube videos now about different headbands. How to take a lady's headband. I don't know much about ladies' headbands, I'm proud to say, but you take a headband of some sort and you sew buttons on it, and then you attach the headband, the mask to the headband. Well, that's all well and good if you still have that Flash Dance or Chrissy Everett tennis headband that's sitting in a box somewhere and has been for 30 years. Grab it, use it. If not, you may need to have one made. Now, headbands, they're not particularly masculine. For guys, unless, there's only one headband that you really can get away with wearing. And again, not the 1970s Adidas headband, but instead, Kansas City fans, I know you're with me. It's the Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, fuzzy head hairband. Fuzzy head hairband. Now, looking at this, when it first came from Hy-Vee, I put it on and it looked like this. And I looked like Balzar Conehead. I am from France. I am here for the Chiefs. Go Chiefs. Go football man. But then I realized I needed to push it down and poof it out. There we go. Now I don't know. Does that look like Patrick Mahomes? No, it looks like I have a brown chia pet on my head. But damn it, everyone in Kansas City knows this is the official Patrick Mahomes headband. And this is what we're going to wear with our masks if they have football in the fall. That's right. If the Kansas City Chiefs football goes on at Arrowhead Stadium, and if fans are allowed to go, part of the reintegration plan, the reopening plan for the city of Kansas City, Missouri, is to require masks. So, what is the number? 82,000. 82,000 screaming Chiefs fans, all with face masks, probably rubber gloves, and as many of these, dang, that's not working, as many of these Patrick Mahomes head things as possible. Take a look. Now, how did I do this? Well, actually, my lovely assistant did this. She sewed a button on either side and a bright colored yellow button that really stands out. And there it is, the Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs coronavirus headband mask combination. Now, you can adjust the mask as needed. If it's falling off now, tie a little knot in the back. You can also put more than one button on the side here so that, if necessary, you can adjust to fit. It can also be used for more than one member of your family. Now, that's the headband, which, as we know, headbands don't transmit viruses. So you can share it back and forth between family and friends. The mask itself, though, is a death trap of deadly coronavirus. So, Patrick Mahomes, not Balzar Conehead. And you're set. Every Red Friday when you have to go out, you put on the mask, and you put on the headband, you put on the mask, and go Chiefs! Well, they're only $39.99 at Hy-Vee, probably available at half price now. You'll find them around town. You can even make one. I'm not sure what you make this out of. You could probably order some kind of fluffy fuzz fake hair stuff online and make 1 million of them and make $1 million. If you see any of these floating around town, I want a royalty check. Get it? Got it? Good. Well, I can only stand this thing on my head for so long, so we're going to make a change to the magic of video, and I'll be right back with the proper headgear. There. That's much better. Much better. Patrick Mahomes, I'm sure he's a great guy, but I don't want to look like him, and I don't want to wear his fake hair any longer than necessary. But you be you. That may be the look for you this fall at Arrowhead Stadium. Well, God, a long, long week. Another long week. As I said, they seem to be flowing together. You can't tell one from the next. Is it a new routine? Yeah, at least until lockdowns end, we get reopenings, people are coming back into life. Well, an important part of my routine is a good cigar. And today we're going to talk about good cigars. I have a gift here from a friend. It is, well, look at that. It's a Cohiba Siglo VI, all the way from Cuba. My friend says he found it at a really good price from a guy in Mexico when he was on vacation. And he brought them back and he gifted me with one. And you know what? Sometimes you just want a good Cuban cigar, you know? You're going to enjoy it here and whoa, wait a second here. What is this? I do believe I need my reading glasses. Cohiba, Habana, Cuba. That part looks good. It has the girl's head on it looking sideways. But you know what I see? I see that it's not really a Cohiba band. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Fire up the mystery machine. We need to go and talk about fake Cubans. Now, this was a gift from a friend for whom I have great respect. He thought he was buying the real thing. And so, I won't say his name, and I'll thank him anyway. Thank you for the cigar, but my friend, I'm not going to smoke it. And here's why. A counterfeit cigar, it needs to do two things, okay? And one of them is not taste good. One of them is to look like the real product. It needs to look like, in this case, a Cohiba Siglo VI from Cuba. The color of the wrapper on a Cohiba Siglo VI is a particular shade of reddish brown. We don't know what kind of tobacco went into this cigar. Now, I will say, in its credit, it has an interestingly large wedge of dark Ligero in there, not often found on real Cohiba Siglo VI. Ligero, by the way, being the sun-grown tobacco from the top of the plant, it's always darker than the Viso or the Viso Velada or Seco leaf. Big chunk of Ligero in there. If I trusted this cigar, I'd fire it up and see how it is. It might be a pretty good Mexican cigar. It might be a pretty good Honduran cigar. But you can't trust them. Now, you can't trust them because in order to make the wrapper leaf the right color, to convince the buyer that he's truly buying a Cohiba Siglo VI, or in fact a box of them, which will run $500 to $1,000 American, they've got to change the color of whatever leaf they're using in the base cigar to make it look reddish brown and convince the untrained eye that it's truly a Cohiba Siglo VI. Well, how would you do that? Well, you would add things that change its color. You might add red things. You might add brown things. You might add solvent. You might add oil. What kind of oil? How about used motor oil? Yes, or used vegetable oil. You also don't know what process this leaf went through, the leaves inside went through the production. Now, we may be talking about a fine cigar made at the most reputable Mexican cigar factory. No, on second thought, we're not. Because a reputable cigar made at a reputable factory would not carry a fake band. And it wouldn't be trying to convince you that it's something else. It would have its own band. A great cigar from the Dominican Republic like, I don't know, like Hoki Blanco, Casa Fernandez, would not have a fake Cohiba band. And it would not be trying to convince you that it's a Cohiba Bahique or a Cohiba Siglo VI or a Monte Cristo #2. No. It's going to ride on its own achievement and be proud of what it is. So this is the cigar we can't trust. We don't know what chemicals were added to this wrapper leaf to make it the right color or close to the right color. We also don't know in the process of manufacturing the quality of the tobacco, the cleanliness of the rolling operation. This could have been rolled in the back of somebody's little bodega right there in Mexico. Dirty floor, chickens pooping on the floor. It could have been taken out of a bale of tobacco that was in somebody's barn that has, chicken poop on it. Never know. Well, we're not going to trust this cigar. And my friends, look carefully at any special deal, any secondary market deal for Cuban cigars. You never know what you're going to get. And I guarantee you buy it off of some guy on the street in Guadalajara or some guy just off the beach at the Mexican Riviera, the odds are it's not real. And not being real means not only do you not know what you get, but you don't know what extra stuff has been added that could be poisonous. Copper, lead, mercury, used motor oil. Man, this cigar sounds like it's methamphetamine, doesn't it? Well, in a way it is. This is the crystal meth of the cigar world. It's highly in demand, and it's more than likely cut with some form of toxic chemical. Well, we don't want that. Away it goes. I should probably wash my hands, right? Besides, this is the age of the Rona. Got to wash your hands every 5 minutes. Instead, today, we're going to go outside and we're going to enjoy a cigar that I got at the Nebraska Cigar Festival this year, the Cattle Baron. This particular one is a Toro, and we're going to enjoy it outside. Welcome to Straight Talk with DC Hanna, coming to you from the great outdoors. Now, you may not recognize the outdoors because you've been locked up on Corona quarantine for 5, 6, 7 weeks. God, how long has it been? It's been forever. For, insert expletive here, ever. Now, this mysterious warmth and light you see comes from something known as the sun. Yes, the sun. Some of you have been afraid to go out in the sun because of the Rona. Most of my friends are not. We have found creative ways to live outside with the Rona, hiding from the Karens and the Ronapolice. Who are the Ronapolice? They are the self-appointed protectors of our life and health. They are, as I said, the Karens. If you're not familiar with the internet sensation, the Karens, by all means, check them out. The neighbor dog knows who the Karens are. It's kind of like in Young Frankenstein, whenever someone would say Frau Blucher, then a horse would whinny. Now, if we say the Karens, the neighbor dog barks. Well, the Ronapolice are making sure that we all stay alive by ruining our lives. They are driving around, checking out businesses, checking out playgrounds, checking out individuals and people, spying on their neighbors, and calling into various report lines. The 311 line in some cities. In New York City, they had a text line, 311, and then something where you could text photographs of your neighbors, businesses, and children breaking the law. Except they weren't really breaking the law. They're violating an order. Now we have, of course, a subset of people, the Karens, the Ronapolice, and they're making sure that we're all good little boys and girls, that we stay indoors, that we don't go out, that we don't drive, that they are the ones who get to decide what's essential, or the idea that the government defined essential, and therefore only the stuff the government thinks is essential is what we ought to do. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, there are literally 1 million different kinds of business. Every business addresses some segment or section of some person's life. The government is in no position by construction or by temperament to actually decide what is and is not necessary or essential. Essential businesses were very narrowly defined, but in so doing, they were defined in ways that allowed some good loopholes, and all kinds of enterprising business owners and entrepreneurs have found our ways to do that. And yes, I use the word our advisedly. The government is not the agent of deciding essential. The Constitution doesn't allow it. The U.S. Constitution never says anything in it about essential. The state constitution, in my case of Kansas, doesn't say that the governor shall have the power to define essential businesses. But every business is essential in some way. There is no frivolous business. If there's no demand, then there's no business. Customers drive demand. So your business may not provide food, shelter, or gasoline, but the business is essential. And it's essential to two groups of people. To the customers who purchase products that because they want them. That's the demand side. And the extent to which something needs to be essential, we're not talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs here. If we were, a bunch of stuff that the government has deemed essential would not be. No, we're talking about the customer deciding what's essential. What do they need and or want to spend money on? And it's not my job to decide what you think is essential. It's not Karen's job to decide what you think is essential. It's not the government's job. The last time I checked, to use an old saying, this is still America. And we don't have to show need. We don't have to show essentialness. That never changed. We never voted on it. And executive orders and actions don't take away our rights. And make no mistake, if the government says to you, you can't do something right now, they have taken your rights right now. You like that, where I'm using my cigar as a pointer? By the way, this is the Cattle Baron from the Nebraska Cigar Festival, if I didn't tell you that before. Tasty, woody, smooth cigar. But let's go back to our discussion here. And that is that the Constitution still applies. The idea that our rights, which are greater than the Constitution, our rights don't come from the Constitution. The purpose of the United States Constitution is to guarantee our natural human rights, our right of life, our right of liberty, our right of property, and our right of pursuit of happiness. That's the government's job. It's not to pick winners and losers in the marketplace by allowing Walmart to stay open while requiring smaller stores that sell things Walmart also sells to be closed because they're non-essential. It's not the government's job. They didn't get elected for that. Despite what the governor of Kansas or the president of the United States might think, they are not monarchs. They were not appointed by God. They were elected in a popularity contest to do a limited thing, and that is to execute the laws of the state. And when you argue back, well, there is a law that grants the governor executive emergency powers. Sure, there is, but any law which is unjust and violates the Constitution is in fact null and void. You ever heard that? That's from a U.S. Supreme Court decision over 100 years ago, that a citizen is right to ignore bad law. And a law that easily violates a freedom guaranteed in the Constitution or attempts to give power to the government beyond what the Constitution states as an enumerated power is immoral, and it is in fact null and void. It's bad law. Well, what I'm describing to you is one tenet of libertarian belief. And as I've said before, I am a libertarian. I'm a no-nonsense, uncompromising libertarian. I am willing to sacrifice everything for the cause of freedom. Today, that makes me an enemy of the state. I like enemy of the state. I also like leader of the cigar resistance. Freedom is non-negotiable. Now, the government and the media have worked very hard to scare you by telling you that if you go outside, you're going to spread the Rona or you're going to catch the Rona and you could die. If you go outside, unless you go out for an essential purpose. Now, ask me how much sense this makes. It's bad to go to the park and sit on a park bench. It's bad to go to the park and sit on a merry-go-round. It's bad to go to a park and sit on a swing. But it's okay to go to Walmart. The answer back is often, yes, but that's essential. Sunlight, fresh air, mental health are every bit as essential. We're losing millions of jobs. We're losing millions of businesses. Government bailout is not a fix-it. A one-time stimulus check or something that's been discussed, a monthly stipend for every citizen, that doesn't fix it. It's only the opportunity, the freedom to rebuild our businesses, to regain our jobs or go out and find new ones, to rebuild the economy, that machine of 1 million pieces and 300 million participants. That's too big to guide. That's too big to control. And that the one agent that is trying is least equipped to do it. Well, I am here to tell you that you are the individual, you are the judge, you are the moral agent, you are the actor. And if you need to go outside, do it. If you're healthy, get your ass outside. Take a walk, take a motorcycle ride, take a bike ride, take a drive. Get out of the house. Enjoy this beautiful sunshine. Join the cigar resistance. Join the life resistance. Call it what you will. Go to church if you're a churchgoer. We're all doing it smart. People are naturally creating distance with those people they need to create distance from. If you are a member of a vulnerable population, you're going to stay home or you're going to be more cautious about your distancing. If you're healthy, you're going to go out, you're going to live life. You are probably, if you haven't done it already, going to get exposed to the Rona. And you're going to get a little bit sick and you're going to get better. The government that only has one tool, and that's the tool of overwhelming force, is doing its best to scare you and keep you inside. Don't succumb to fear. Get your ass outside. Go for a walk. Mow the lawn. Do a little shooting, which, by the way, we are here at the Small Arms Range at Stately Hannah Manor, where I'm teaching young Miss Jane the fine art of BB gun shooting with her new Pink Rider BB gun. She's doing mighty fine. I'm mighty proud of her. She has this time, thanks to the Rona, she's homeschooling. I guess that's a good thing, isn't it? Every cloud has a silver lining. There are other silver linings. Businesses do have the opportunity to do a little spring cleaning and sprucing up, but it's at the cost of sales. And some of them, they can't even do that. They're locked out. Let's live our lives, friends. Let's enjoy a good cigar. Let's enjoy a good walk. Let's enjoy a good drive or a ride. Let's go out in the country. Let's practice life socially and wisely. Well, thank you for watching. Again, I'll be back next week for another edition of Straight Talk with DC Hannah. Until then, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Straight Talk with DC Hannah. Go over to Facebook and give me a like, Straight Talk with DC Hannah, and tell your friends. I love doing this, but you know what I love even more? Having people watch it and enjoy it and talk about it. And if we can perhaps foment the seeds of rebellion, mo better. My friends, peace out. For all of you, my friends and my family, I love you. And I'll see you next time.